So the next thing is demand concessions. So, you know, I live, I don't know how many of you guys know exactly where I live, but I live in Canton, which is a very relatively high concentration of Muslim population. Also, it's very close to Dearborn, which everybody usually knows about. Well, it's in Dearborn that they decided to go off and serve, was it halal?
Halal.
Halal. I get that wrong every single time. Sorry. Halal
It's
food.
not his meal.
Yeah, sorry. Right now my meal is, yeah.
By the way, shalal means waterfall.
Yeah?
So maybe that'll help you make the distinction. Shalal is waterfall.
Okay. Shalal's waterfall. All right. Well, anyway, there halal halal food is going on. There's other concessions that everybody can see. You can see it in businesses where they're going off and being required to go off and have special breaks around Muslim prayer times. This comes in across the board, and what we're seeing is this is where you start seeing a little bit of the culture clash, right? This is where they can start singing prayer times from the parapets, minarets all over the place. And it's, you know, forget the sound ordinances, that doesn't apply anymore because they got a religious exemption. But this is something that is getting to be very prevalent all throughout our state as well as the rest of the country. So here's another one that I've been fighting for quite a bit. It's using our education system as a vehicle. How many of you guys are familiar with the grade level content expectations? Were you familiar? There was in our grade level content expectations and in the social studies standards that were proposed to the Michigan State Board of Education 2 years ago, those standards included a dedicated section on the rise of Islam and talking about all the tenets of Islam. And there's no other section on Christianity or Buddhism or Hinduism or even atheism in there. It was only one big long section on the rise of Islam. And I said, this seems a little interesting here. And I went through and I identified about 15 different issues with the proposed social studies standards, got 17 of my colleagues to join on and sign on to a letter that I sent to the State Board of Ed and said, these social studies standards are not acceptable. We need to have standards that are politically neutral and accurate. And to their credit, they formed a focus group. And I was the only legislator on that focus group, outnumbered by about 20 to 1 on a regular basis. From a worldview perspective, we got agreement on all 15 of the different issues that were there, including when they're going to talk about the rise of Islam. Now we've got a section on the rise of Christianity and talking about its role in the formation of the United States. And so our kids are going to at least have a balanced perspective. And the way we did that was just by saying it had to be politically neutral and accurate. But there is one thing that gets to the heart of the sovereignty discussion we were talking about earlier that was very concerning that came out of that discussion. We got agreement on all 15 issues that I cited at the beginning, but there was another term that was unearthed during the middle of the discussions that we didn't get resolution on, and that's why this is so much a concern. The term was core democratic values. We couldn't get, I said before I sign off on this, I want to have an understanding of what you mean by core democratic values. And first of all I said, core democratic values is not exactly politically neutral or accurate. I say, how about, and I'm not proposing core Republican values, how about core American values? And we at least got agreement on that. But after that, we could not get agreement. Simple things like you want to go to the Declaration of Independence, say we're all created equal. That's a core value, right? We're created equal. Well, they didn't want to say created. They just want to say we're all equal. So it means we're supposed to have equal outcomes, right? And so that's their launching point to go into the red side of the red-green axis. So because I stated I wanted created equal, we couldn't get agreement on that. But this is what's happening in our schools. They're using it as a mechanism to go off and put the blinders on, essentially, for not just today's kids, but future generations of kids. And what did Abe Lincoln once say? The philosophy of education one generation will be the philosophy of government in the next. They know that in civilization jihad. This is not a snap your fingers and pop it changes on you. They are planting seeds in their generational seeds that are intended to change our system of government and turn it green.